Here we are in the Cattywampus Acres greenhouse. I have a heater bumping me in the head, but we've been keeping this going for these cool nights. I'm probably going to turn it off for now. It's going to be nice and toasty, and today we won't need this. But as you can see, our pro-cut sunflowers have germinated and are coming up. We have all this hibiscus and okra and zucchini and squash, cucumbers. Watermelons and pumpkin, the Atlantic giant pumpkins, are slow, but they are coming up. You probably can't even see them. Moved our Brussels sprouts over here. I want to let them get quite a bit bigger before we put them in the ground, but they're rocking and rolling. This is so exciting. The peppers have all began to germinate and some are already sprouted up. Tomatoes, same thing. We have a whole bunch of little carpet of baby tomatoes here. This is, man, we're gonna have to move these brassicas into the garden. If you watched our last video about fertilization and stuff, I want to show you, look at this broccoli stalk right here. You see how much thicker that is? That's awesome. That's what fertilization does. So these things are really rocking and rolling, ready to go. We have some spinach, some kale, some dill. Our lettuce we planted later, but it is coming up. This is some butterhead lettuce, so that's coming up in these. Some spinach. This is cauliflower. This is some dill. We're probably gonna move that out in the herb bed soon. And then here is some kale. Probably need to get this kale out and put this in the ground like quick. So far 2021 garden plans are going really good. We got to get out to this orchard. What is up, Cattywampus crew? Welcome back to Cattywampus Acres. If it's your first time joining us, welcome. And if you're already part of our Cattywampus crew, welcome back. I'm standing here in front of our snow angel peach tree. We planted this a couple years ago. This thing is already jamming. It is February 22nd here in zone 7B, and this thing has got blooms out of every single bud. This is a snow angel white peach tree, and so this blooms very early. This will be fruited and done by the time these ones even start throwing blossoms. We have a lot to get into today, and one of those things is pruning our backyard orchard. This is one that we did a while back because it bloomed so early. You can check that video out. I'll put the link up above, but we have like 13 more trees that we have to prune. If you already are growing or thinking about growing a backyard orchard in a small space, we highly encourage that, and we want to help you with that as much as possible. Here's Lauren. She came out of nowhere. So we have to prune these fruit trees. We have peaches and plums and apples and persimmon and pears and figs. Oh my. They're ready to go. They're about to break buds, or they are breaking buds, so we have to hurry up and get our shaping pruning done. So if this is something you are interested in, if this is something you want to do, please follow along with us and stay with us, because we are going to keep growing this and showing you how possible it is to grow a whole bunch of food on a little bitty, itsy bitsy bunch of space, right? Yes. So let's get into it. Well, since I'm already down in this end of our orchard, I'm going to start with our stone fruits. This is an Alberta peach. This was just planted last year. It's doing pretty well. It's certainly not growing as fast as our snow angel peach. With all stone fruits like nectarines, plums, and peaches, those types of things, you definitely want to prune out of the center. You want to have an open center, or vase, or vase shape, as they say. And that's what we've done with our snow angel peach tree, and it's done really well. It's got really strong scaffold branches. So since this is our first like true shaping pruning, I'm just going to try and get us a rough shape. We really don't want there to be fruit on here. You don't want there to be fruit your first year. I know it seems very exciting to get 1 or 2 apples or plums or peaches or something on a fruit tree your first year you planted it, but that's not really what you want. Your first year you want for strength, and you want to establish it for years to come. When you're pruning fruit trees and when you're doing fruit trees, you always have to think towards the future. You don't want to think about the now. And so this one, I'm going to pick some scaffold branches. I'm going to make it pretty easy. The ones that I want to keep, I'm going to do a heading cut to sort of force the growth back down and thicken the scaffolding branches. All I really have with me today is a pair of pruners. You should keep them clean, some kind of bleach solution, alcohol solution. So you don't spread, if there is a disease, you don't spread that from tree to tree. It can be scary, but I know that the snow angel peach tree that we have is a good example of how you should just jump right into it and prune the heck out of it. You can prune up to 1/3 of a tree's weight in one pruning without doing any damage to the tree. So I'm gonna pick these branches down here as my scaffold branches. I want them going out in like a star pattern, and this one's already sort of laid out like that. If you see any dead, dying, or diseased branches, those gotta go. If there's any branches that cross over each other, those gotta go. And so that's just your rule, that's the rule of thumb. This one I already know is crossing over. I'm gonna go near the branch here and snip that off. But this is gonna be a scaffold, hopefully. This is gonna be a scaffold, and you want a good angle, like a 45-degree angle. If it's closer than 45 degrees, you don't really wanna go with that, because when it gets a heavy fruit load, it'll hang out and snap that off. And so, as you can see, this one has less than a 45-degree angle, so we're gonna sort of shape this so it starts coming out this direction, so I don't have big heavy fruit down here that bends it this way and snaps it off. I already have some really good scaffold setups here. So this one, I'm good. I'm gonna go to an outward growing bud. I'm gonna do a heading cut on that, heading cut on this. So that's 2 of our scaffold branches. Trim that, trim that, trim that. This is going to be shaded, so we don't want that one. It's facing straight down. It'll be covered up with the branch and the leaves. We don't want that. This one's in a good place. I'm going to keep that. These are regular trees that will grow 20, 30 feet. All these ones in here, if not 50 feet. I think the persimmon can get up to like 50 feet tall. None of these are going to get above 8 or 9 feet tall here in our orchard. And you say, well, then you should get dwarf trees. That's not true. That's not true. You can prune a tree and you can keep a tree the size you want it, just by pruning it and keeping it up with it. That's all it is. Might require a little bit more work, but then you're just showing it a little bit more love, and you get to spend a little bit more time with your food. This one's an inner growing. You don't want growing in ever. And I think what we'll do is take this one down to here. This one's growing in, this one has to go. Go right up next to our branch there. And what you can actually do with some of these is you can tie them down and actually grow them out this way. It worked a little bit on one of our branches, so what we may end up doing is sort of tying these ones down to the ground, or weighing them down and having them grow out at a wider angle. We'll see what happens this year. If I see something growing in that's small, I just rub it off. I just rub that bud off so that won't grow in. I think what we'll do is take this one here, this big one. I think it's got some new growth here. I think we're gonna take it there. This one here. I think we'll just take this one right here. And then we'll just do heading cuts on these to stimulate growth and find a bud that's growing the direction we want this to grow, and prune right above that. All right, this one's done. All right, here I am with one of our Santa Rosa plums, also a stone fruit. This one, as you can see, has already got a pretty good open center going. This guy is in the way, but this has got a good, if you look down from the top, it looks like a hub and like spokes coming out from the center. This is where I originally cut it. This thing was probably a 5 or 6 foot whip when I got it, cut it down, and you can already see this is up to about, I don't know, about 1.5 inches at the base. And it was like skinny like one of these when I got it. So it's already doing a good job. Some of these with really wide angles and low ones need to come off right away. But I got some good scaffolds here, so I'm just gonna go through this and keep an open center in this one. All right, crossover done, open center. As you can see, everything's good. 45-degree angles for the most part. Anything that's shorter than that we can watch, but this one's an easy one. This is a really good one. Nice and easy. Now we've moved on to our pears. I did one of them over here. That one didn't need much. This is, I can't remember if this is a Bartlett or a Kiefer. I probably won't be able to tell which type of pear this is until this gets a little bit bigger and bears some fruit, so I can decipher which one this is. Truly what our goal is with the apples and pears for sure, and eventually with the stone fruits, is to graft in other types of that fruit. And so what we'll do is we have a Kiefer and a Bartlett pear. Eventually I'd like to have 4 or 5 different varieties per tree, because we're not really growing this for stores, we're growing this for us, and so we'll find the pears that we like the best. I wanted to show you this. A lot of people will get this after your first year. We have one branch of this pear that is 8 feet tall, and you would think, man, that is awesome, I'm gonna just let that thing go. That's not a good idea. If this branch were to get strong like that, you would have a wild looking pear tree. And so this is more the kind of painful things we do when we're pruning, but you don't want fruit to start growing over there. And look what's gonna happen. This thing is now crossing over the whole tree, going down. It could easily, if I wanted to, it could easily make it touch the ground. So we're not gonna let it do that. We're gonna cut this one back quite a bit, and then try and stay with a semi-open center on this. We gotta cut out a big old piece of this because it's not gonna work. It is just not gonna work. Think about all the energy that's went into this could be going into strengthening these lower branches, and that's what I want. Because this thing's thinking it's doing awesome by growing closer to the sun, but we want it to stay down here and strengthen all these and make this a nice fat bunch of scaffold branches. So I think we're gonna go somewhere right there for now. That'll do. Scary looking, I know, but that'll do for now. We'll keep an eye on it, do some summer pruning. Finally, we need to take care of our apple trees. We have a couple Fujis and a Gala apple. There's one 8 feet that way, one 8 feet that way. Eventually, we're gonna have between 12 and 15 varieties of apples within 16 feet of each other, which is really awesome. This one's got an interesting thing going on. It's put out a lot of growth last year. Once again, it was a whip. We cut it here. It's grown pretty tall. This thing is 7 feet, 7.5 feet tall. But it's got these ones down here. I'm gonna need to get rid of those because I don't want branches growing down here. So if it's lower than knee high, they're coming off. This one's already set up pretty well. Got 3 really good ones right there. We're gonna shoot for, I'm gonna say here, up there, and that one, somewhere in this region. We got these 3 tall ones in the middle. These all gotta be brought down a little bit. This one's going there. This one going there. And finally, this one's going here. All right. And we will shape that up in the middle of summer. But this thing is that we are truly stimulating some serious growth. It seems like we're doing horrible things to these trees, but trees love, love, love this. As with relationships, the closer you are to your trees and your fruits and your vegetables, and the more time you spend with them, in this case pruning and taking care of stuff that doesn't need to be there, that's when you're gonna get the most growth. Take that one to the bank. I did want to take a quick second to say thank you to everyone who subscribed to our channel so far. We are about to hit 5,000 subscribers. That's awesome. And I will mention we're probably going to do a giveaway at 5,000. So look forward to that. And if you're not already part of our Cattywampus crew, thank you for watching our videos, and we would hope that you would consider hitting the subscribe button down below because it really helps us out and helps us become more self-sufficient and work on all these cool projects and these experiments, if you will, out here. And hit that bell notification down below so you can keep up to date with everything we're doing here on the farm. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up.